Hello, and welcome back to a new episode of Connected Cultures. I'm your host, Connolly.
And I'm your host, Ellie. Today's episode is all about Native American Heritage Month.
Join us as we take a deep dive into the history of Native American Heritage Month, interview a student-led movement, go across campus, and take a look at a small business.
Native American Heritage Month is celebrated in the U.S. all throughout November. During this month, we recognize Native Americans, Native Alaskans, Native Hawaiians, and affiliated island communities.
Native people have been in the Americas for as long as the Americas have been around. However, they were not recognized as U.S. citizens until June 2, 1924. During protests in the 1960s and 1970s, Native American activists urged the government to honor their treaty obligations so tribes could restore their relationships with the land.
Native American Heritage Month officially became recognized in 1990 by President George Bush. During November, we recognize the significant contributions that the first Americans made to the formation of the United States. We also recognize the many injustices that they have faced by the U.S. We want to help uplift Indigenous voices and make sure that they get heard. Stay tuned for more.
Did you know we have our own Indigenous movement here on campus? Join me as I interview the Student American Indian Movement. Hello, my name is Connolly Weaver, and today I am here with the Student American Indian Movement. So would you guys like to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Yeah, so I'm Sierra. I'm the president of SAME, and I have been the president for, this is my third year. And so, yeah.
I am Simber. I'm a senior, and this is my second year with SAME.
Awesome. So what role does SAME play on Appalachian State's campus?
So I think our main role right now, or at least what we're trying to aim our club towards, is educating people, letting them know we're still here, we're around, letting people know who we are, like our different tribes that all of us represent, and just what we do for the community.
With that role, what are some of the key issues that you guys are honing in on and focusing, and how are you achieving those issues?
The main issue for this year and this semester even has been that we don't have a permanent space, and so that's been kind of difficult trying to get the word out on the campus and even off campus, getting the word out to the community. Social media has been like our go-to with things, and and so just not having that permanent space for people to come and like get to know more about us, so we kind of have to venture out and kind of be more just open to questions and things, and so I think that's the biggest challenge.
With not having that space and having to relocate, how has that affected the community of SAME?
As a SAME member and also the president, I feel like trying to communicate with other clubs has also been an issue, because there was one point where we would all meet together and be like, this is what event I have going on, this is what's going on in our club, and we would all support each other, and now it's kind of like up to like each other in our community.
And so what events can we expect to see from SAME this year? And as you were saying, you're trying to teach people about Indigenous culture and these tribes. Are you trying to do that through your events or through your marketing? How are you going about that?
I think that not only is it our marketing and our getting the word out and just word of mouth even, I think that it's important that as a club we also can get help from other clubs, because there's power in numbers.
Yes.
And I think that moving forward as far as funding, that's going to be, it's going to be a hindrance as far as events go. But I'm planning on, and we all are planning on, to be more involved off campus and to be involved in the community, and so the community can come and just kind of help us all out. And it's not just with SAME, it's with all of the diverse groups on campus. And so I think that just being in partnership with those people, it can allow more opportunity to do things even without funding.
Gotcha. And as far as events, for upcoming events, we partnered with the Blue Ridge Conservancy, and they gave us a plot of land, and one of our members, Connor, he worked all summer growing a garden with all sorts of stuff, and we're trying to get in touch with the Farm Cafe
Mhm.
on King Street and maybe do something where we bring everything that we've grown over the summer and do some sort of like cultural meal, something like that, and give it out to the community. So people, that one will be educated on stuff,
Right.
what we eat, what we like, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we'll also be helping everybody out and giving away all this produce that was grown over the summer. So I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Also, is it in November that we do
Piece of
the
film series.
film series, or was it in October?
Yeah, it's in November. It's just kind of like I call it Indigenous Month. But it's when we do our film series, and it's just what it is. It's a series of films, and some of it can be on like the life on reservations. It could be missing and murdered Indigenous women. It could be just all sorts of things. And so we all come together, and our advisor, Dr. Alan Bryant, he comes and he just talks and he just says a little like piece about the films, and he also invites his coworkers, and so they also bring their students, which is nice. And so it's just it's like a 3-day like event, and it's like in the evening times. So, and we also do pizza versus poverty, and so we and so and so Capone's Pizza, they have donated to us. We've gotten
we did Capone's, we did Pizza Hut, and we did one other place. Was it Domino's? Domino's, they all donated pizzas for us, and we got in touch with some of the people down in Todd. They helped us give away pizzas to families in need in Watauga County, and some of the surrounding areas of doing everything. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's really rewarding.
Yeah.
I think it's also something that we can relate to on a level, because a lot of natives are living in poverty or going without. So it's nice to know that we can help people out, even if they're not Native American or anything like that.
Right.
It's just like to help the community.
So with this work, and you were talking about it being rewarding, what has been the most rewarding piece of activism that you guys have done with SAME?
For me, it's probably the pizza versus poverty, because it's just really fun experience. It's also fun just getting out with each other and driving out in the middle of nowhere a lot of times, and trying to navigate that. Also, I know Sierra has mentioned in the past when our club, I wasn't able to make it last year, but we've gone to the Watauga Library and read some books and things to kids, and done like Play-Doh figures and models, and just taught kids some basics about tribes or like our culture and things like that.
Yeah.
I know that's been really rewarding to a lot of the other members.
Yeah. I feel like it is also beneficial for children to know about things, because you know, with the school system and everything, most people don't know about Indigenous culture, or it's either just skimmed over or something or things like that. So I think that reading to those children, you know, it not only gives them like something to like remember, but it gives them something to hold on to and look forward to the future, so they could be a part of what we're doing.
That's great that you guys are trying to teach the future of America. And if you could have one message to share about either a local tribe or just Indigenous culture as a whole to people that they may not know, what would that be?
I would say my motto would be, we are still here.
Yeah.
And we are actively trying to serve others, and that's what we do, and that's what we're about. And resilience, I feel like, is the main thing that we as Native people in general want to persuade, because that's who we are, and that's how most of us are brought up, is to be resilient and to be not what history has made us to be.
And so when do you guys meet so that anyone who's interested can come?
Yeah, so we meet in Ann Belk, not the library, and we meet in room 327 at around like 4 to 6 p.m.
On Thursdays.
On Thursdays, yes.
All right.
Ann Belk 327, Thursdays 4 to 6.
Yes. Be there to learn about you guys.
Yep.
And if you guys want to plug your social media so people can follow you guys and get updates, go right ahead.
Yeah, so our Instagram is same_AppState, and our, I don't think we have a Facebook thing, but I think Instagram is the main way to reach us.
We're on the Engage page.
Engage page, yeah.
It will give you the email, because the email is saim@appstate.edu.
Gotcha. Well, thank you guys so much for talking with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Of course.
Wow, SAME is doing lots of important stuff for the community. Be sure to check them out on their social media and stay up to date on all their upcoming events.
Think you know a thing or two about Native American Heritage Month? Go around campus with Marguerite as she quizzes App State students.
Play along and see how many you get right.
I'm Marguerite, and today we are outside of Ann Belk Library to quiz students on their knowledge of Native American Heritage Month. I am here with,
Izzy Slick, Carolyn.
Josh.
so number one, when did we begin celebrating Native American Heritage Month? A, 1990, B, 1872, C, 1981, or D, 1776?
B, but my heart breaks because that's not right, I'm sure.
I'm gonna go 1981.
I'm gonna say 1981.
Close, it was 1990. Number two, when were Native Americans granted citizenship? A, 1826, B, 1990, C, 1991, D, 1845.
I'm gonna go with 91.
1990.
I'm gonna go with 1990.
Yes, that's correct.
I just went out because that was the answer from the last one.
3. What percentage of Americans identify as Native American? A, 12%, B, 15%, C, 5%, or D, 2%?
These are all really close answers. This is awful. I'm gonna go with 12%.
I'm gonna go 12%.
I'm gonna go with 12.
It's actually only 2%. 4. How many indigenous languages are still spoken in the U.S.? A, 100, B, 15, C, 120, or D, 175?
Let's go with A. I don't know.
Is it 15?
I'm gonna go with 15. That's so wrong.
Surprisingly, it's 175.
Okay.
What is the largest Native American tribe today? A, Navajo, B, Blackfeet, C, Cherokee, and D, Apache.
I'm just gonna go with Navajo because that's the only one I know of.
Definitely has to be Cherokee.
It is Cherokee.
Cherokee.
Yes.
For sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I feel like I don't know any information.
How many did you get right?
We didn't do too bad ourselves.
Want to see an inside look at a small business? Go join me once again as I interview Ben, founder of Unrecognized Co.
Hello, my name is Connolly Weaver, and today I'm here with Benjamin Cashwell talking about his business, Unrecognized Apparel. So, Ben, please tell us about yourself and your business.
Yeah. Hi there. My name is Benjamin Cashwell. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, but I'm currently in school at Dartmouth College up in New Hampshire. And I come from the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina and the Coharie tribe of North Carolina. My business, Unrecognized Co., is an indigenous streetwear business. That's kind of how we've tagged ourselves. And essentially, we're just here to try and make good quality clothing that supports and talks about Native issues and brings some visibility to Native peoples.
Yes, that's awesome. And so I believe you kind of touched on this a little bit, but why was it important to you to base your clothing brand in indigenous culture?
Absolutely. So when I was kind of going around to powwows, this was a few years back, I was getting really into kind of vintage clothing and interested in more streetwear brands. And so I was looking for something that looked cool, that I felt like I would be fashionable in, that would kind of talk about indigenous issues. And I couldn't really find anything that I either felt was fashionable or I felt was high quality. And so my indigenous culture is very important to me. And I'll dive into why we're called Unrecognized in a little bit. But essentially, the idea behind it is I wanted to bring visibility to Native peoples because so often our issues aren't talked about, our culture isn't talked about. Even in the classroom setting, it's kind of one of those things that's brushed over. And so I wanted to just create something that was high quality, that looked good, and that could talk about the Native issues that often go unrecognized.
Of course, very important. And So in your store, you have a sticker that says learn your local tribes. So could you talk about why you have this sticker, what that means to you? And I'm sure you could probably tie in what unrecognized means to you, the title of your business.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'll start out with this example. So a few years back, I was doing a presentation at my high school to an auditorium full of students about the state tribes of North Carolina. And I started my speech by saying, if anyone in this room, uh, like 300, 400 people, raise your hand if you think you can name the 8 state recognized tribes of North Carolina. There's only 8 of them. You would think someone out there would know these, right? We should have gone over this in our 12 years of schooling that we've been through. Not a single person could name them. I was like, $50. Anybody that can name 5 of them, and no one could do it. I think it's so important that we recognize whose land we're living on, who historically lived on this land. Because realistically, if we don't know who's been here historically, we don't know how to treat the land. This goes beyond just recognizing the tribes and the people that were here first, and it moves into modern times because we're talking about environmental issues, and we're talking about the people that know this land best. And if we don't appreciate that someone has been here and this is someone's home, then we can't possibly treat the land with respect. And then tying that into, again, like you said, my company name, Unrecognized, it kind of branches out of the same story, talking about how our tribes, but also our tribal issues, often go unrecognized in the broader community, talking about poor public school funding. Robeson County, which is where the Lumbee tribe is, it has a massive population of Native peoples, and they have some of the worst public schools in our state, some of the lowest funded public schools in our state. And you'll actually notice that a lot of places where you see tribal communities are also a lot of places where public schools aren't getting a lot of funding. Missing and murdered Indigenous women. Indigenous women go missing, get murdered, and are assaulted and sexually assaulted on a rate above all other types of women. There's far more issues. I could dive into them, but anyways, that's the basic idea.
Yes, so you were very passionate, as we can tell, about your culture and where you are from and the issues that come with it. So how does that passion correlate into your work and your brand? So like how many hours were you spending printing your shirts? And if you could give us kind of a rundown of how you juggled being a high school student and owning this business while trying to educate instead of just selling.
Yeah, absolutely. I was not fully going throughout the school year this year because it would have been too much. But when I'm preparing for a sale, so for example, I had kind of like a flash sale, I guess you could say. It was about 3 weeks where I was selling. A month before that, I started advertising. I was posting every single day on social media. So that's at least an hour a day that it takes me to make those videos. And then making my shirts takes a lot of time because I do it by hand. So besides my hats and my stickers, I make the tote bags by hand. I make my t-shirts by hand, and it's just me in there. So I think throughout this last drop, I made about 200 t-shirts and maybe 25 tote bags. And t-shirts, depending on which one, could take anywhere from 2 minutes to 5 minutes. So there were some days where I was in my garage printing from about 10 a.m. I'd take like an hour-long lunch break maybe, and then I'd be in there till midnight. There were some very late nights as I prepped for this. But as far as juggling it goes, like during the school year and juggling it because I did have summer jobs that I had to do as well because I wasn't going to put all my eggs in one basket. It's definitely a lot. But for me, like screen printing, especially because I care about why I'm doing it, is so soothing with all the stress that it brings to like screw up a t-shirt or like I had a screen break, so I had to pay like $200 to get a new one. With all the stress that comes with it, it really is a very meditative process.
I'm sure it could be peaceful with everything that you were kind of dealing with and being a student. So at Dartmouth, I know you're kind of on a little hiatus with Unrecognized. Do you see a future with that? What is that looking like? Yeah, do you have any plans for that? Any collabs we might be seeing?
Yes, um I'm very interested in continuing it. I have really long off terms. We have kind of a weird schedule here at Dartmouth. So I have a 6 week interim, winterim is what they call it, from Thanksgiving through New Year's. So I have a lot of time. And I think what I'm probably going to do is begin to outsource, um, not just to anyone. I want to outsource to a native owned screen printer and get them to make stuff for me. So I'll just have to ship it out. I do want to continue to do stuff here at Dartmouth. I'm settling in this term, but hopefully in future terms, I'll be able to do it kind of as a side gig to where I can just order a bunch and then all I have to do is ship them off. That'd be awesome. I also really, really do want to do a collab with a group here called Natives at Dartmouth. Dartmouth has a really strong native population. It actually, historically, was chartered for Indigenous students. They did a really bad job at it. They did not graduate very many at all. I think some crazy small number, like 40 students in their first 200 years were native. But then over the past 7 years or so, there have been well over 1,000. And so there's been massive growth, and the school puts a lot of money and support into the Indigenous community here. So I'd really like to work with that group, Natives at Dartmouth, do a collab with them, maybe for our powwow. I'm actually under this sweater. I'm wearing an old Dartmouth powwow shirt from 2010. So maybe I'll be able to creative direct and help design that powwow shirt this year. That'd be cool.
I think that would be awesome if you collabed with Natives at Dartmouth. I think that would be great. So here at App, we have something called the Student American Indian Movement. And this is a club that brings people together. And currently they have kind of gotten pulled from under the rug. Their funding has kind of dissolved. And so do you guys have a club? I guess is Natives at Dartmouth a club? Is this a program, a society? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that are kind of encompassed into Natives at Dartmouth. So you have the Native American program, which is we have a Indigenous Studies minor and major. So you have kind of the academic side. We also have a Native American house. So I think 14 students can live in there each term, which is great. So 14 Native students are living in there right now. And then we have lots of events. So it is kind of like a club, but it's more of this is going to sound so cheesy, but it really is like a family, because there's so much, like, you can go in and out. If you want to go to the barbecue one day, you can. If you want to just go over to the native house, I went over there the other day to make sweet tea because I was missing home. And the kitchen's always open. There's always people there to talk to. There's a beading circle that they give money to through the Native American program. Natives at Dartmouth do a powwow every year that the school gives money to. There's just a lot of programming that they have within the Native American House and Native American program. We have advisors just for Native students, and like different spaces on campus that we can go to, which is really, really important, especially for these students. Me personally, I come from the city. I come from an urban area, but a lot of these students, and I'm sure is the same at App, are coming from their tribal communities. And that's a really, really weird switch to go from being with people that are all like you, your tribe, a really, really strong family and community, into this new place where you don't kind of have that core structure. And so I would just say, like, this is kind of a shout out to all colleges out there. But giving funding to groups like this that give people that community away from home is so, so important. especially like mental health and student well-being.
For sure, it is certainly important. In an interview that I did with that group, they were saying the same thing, just how important it is to have that community on campus and have space on campus. So I'm so glad to hear that Dartmouth is treating you guys well and is building connections between you guys. So for my last question, I'm just gonna have you plug your socials, tell them what to follow, tell them how to purchase, all that good stuff.
Okay. So the website is down right now, guys. Don't worry. We will have more coming out this fall, winter time. But go ahead and follow on social media and you'll get all the updates. It is unrecognized_co on Instagram and Facebook. And it, I believe, is unrecognized.co on TikTok. But if you go to the link tree in our Instagram bio, then you can find the TikTok and Facebook and all that good stuff. You can sign up for our mailing list. And this is what I love about this link tree, because I spent a lot of time working on this link tree. It doesn't just have the links to our social media accounts, it also has links to educational resources. So you can go on there. There's like FAQs about Native American people. There's a list of books that I created, written by Native authors, Indigenous authors. So you have books by Native Americans, about Native Hawaiians that I talk to my Native Hawaiian friends about to find, about Native Alaskans, which I talk to my Native Alaskan friends about to find. There's some places to donate if you want to get to the missing and murdered Indigenous women movement. There's so many resources on there. Go check it out. It's great. I'm really proud of it.
That's great. I actually did not know that, Ben. So I will be hitting up on Recognize Co on Instagram, clicking that link tree and doing my reading and doing some little donations. That's great, guys. But thank you so much for your time, Ben, and thank you for answering all of our questions. And go check out Unrecognized Co and learn your local tribes.
Learn your local tribes. Thank you.
Wow, that is some cool stuff Ben has going on. Be sure to follow his socials so you can never miss a drop, and be sure to check out his link tree for more information.
That is all we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed and learned a little something about Native American Heritage Month.
Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to join us next time for another episode of Connected Cultures.
Bye.